Hello everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me. So today I've got a cute project to share with you, and this is my version of Christmas stacking boxes. But these aren't just any Christmas stacking boxes, these are extra special stacking Christmas boxes, and I'm going to tell you why. Because these beautiful papers that I've used to create with are created by me, and they're absolutely free for anybody to use. So these are part of my 12 weeks of Christmas freebies. So every week for the last 10 weeks I've been creating some Christmas freebies for the people who are in my Facebook group. For those people that don't like to be on Facebook, you can purchase the collection over on my Ko-fi for a nominal fee. And these papers are part of that collection. So if you're in the group, you can download them absolutely free. Some nice free crafting. So that's why they're special. Now these boxes are everywhere, lots of people make them, there's 1,000,001 versions over on Pinterest. Go on over and have a look, they're not my invention, but they're what a lovely little idea. And all it is basically is 3 boxes made in exactly the same way, and they're all 1 inch bigger than the other. It's super simple. So after I've done some chatting and talked through what I've done, excuse me, I'm going to show you how to make one of the boxes, excuse me, sorry, and then how you make the other 2 is exactly the same, okay, and I'll leave the measurements for all 3, just bear with me a minute, sorry about that, I couldn't stop coughing. I'll leave the measurements for all 3 over on my Ko-fi, and I'll leave a dedicated post link in the description box below. So these are beautiful. So we've done, you can do them in any size. I've done, I think this one's 4, 3 and 2. And the reason that I went for that size is so that I could use A4 card, because I don't have any 12 by 12. Very simple. You don't need a lot of card to make these. So what I've done is I have printed the digitals on 120 GSM and matte and layered them. Now one way you can make this project even faster is if you get the download, you can print it direct onto your cardstock. Okay, that's the beauty of digital papers. And then you can make the boxes just out of the patterned cardstock instead of white cardstock layered with patterned paper. Are you with me? It makes it quicker, but I did like the white card layered because I just think that the white there makes the papers pop. So I've matte and layered the papers, I've inked them all with vintage photo, I inked all the edges of all of the boxes with vintage photo, and then I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I have just gone over every single edge of the white boxes with a gilding wax. So gilding wax, rub and buff, that kind of thing, you know, that adds an antique shine. In this instance it's antique gold. If you don't have any of those, a good alternative is metallic acrylic paint. It's cheap as chips. Put a little bit on your finger, rub it to make it fluid, and then just gently brush it along the edges. You just need to wait for that to dry. Then I've added some little embellishments to the front. I've got a tutorial on how I made these. I actually turned them into journal charms, but in this instance they're just a lovely decoration that we've just glued to the lid section of the box. So boxes are a basic concept, but we don't have to be basic, which is why we've added the embellishments and then the gold tones around the edges, just to make them that little bit more special and more Christmassy. Okay, I think they're lovely. So obviously you can fill them with your sweet treats or whatever you desire in there. I think these would make a great craft fair product. You know how beautiful are those? Wrap it in floral cellophane and tie a big fancy bow on the top, or put them in a gift basket with shredded paper. You know, the options are absolutely, you know, I've loads of ideas of how you could display and use these. Mine will be getting filled with sweet treats and given to one of my children or grandchildren, which are multiplying. I've got loads of them now. And another one on the way. I'm so excited. So if you want to wait and see how one of the boxes is created, then we will get on to that. So get yourself comfy, grab yourself a brew, and we'll make one of the boxes. Don't forget, all of the measurements and the scoring will be over on my Ko-fi. So thanks for joining me, and if you're waiting for the tutorial, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so those of you that are still here are just going to get a little bit of extra wisdom, just in case there's anybody that hasn't ever made boxes before. So these are stacking boxes, so each one is 1 inch bigger than the other when it's all constructed, so that they sit nicely on top of each other. Each one is 2 inches deep, because that's just a nice depth for putting things in. If you went any shorter, you're not really going to fit even a quality street in. So if you're going for a square box with a 2 inch depth, whatever size your box is, so this one's 4 by 4, then your base paper will be double that, so it would be 8 by 8. This one ends up at 3 by 3, so your paper's going to be double 6 by 6, etc. Okay, now the lids we've done slightly different because those are narrower, so that they show, you know, so that you can see. These are 1 inch. Okay, so I'll give you all the measurements for those. But basically your lids just need to be whatever size paper you start with for your box, you go down 2 inches for your lid. Okay, but all of the measurements will be over on Ko-fi. It's super simple. Make them, get used to how easy it is. They're easy to resize. You could make this box bigger, but then you'd start having to go onto 12 by 12. I think the largest size you could make without piecing it up would be a 6 by 6 box. Yeah? Okay, so that's the largest you could go to. In one piece, you could, you know, make them bigger by adding pieces together, but we don't want to be making our life complicated. So let me grab my scoreboard. So I'm going to make the largest box. So we've got one piece at 8 by 8, and then we've got the lid piece at 6 1/16 by 6 1/16. So you're going 2 sizes up, but when you use cardstock, some people just use paper for the lids. I don't think that's sturdy. It makes for a flimsy lid. And some people will cut the lid the same size, you know, without that extra 1/16 of an inch. They'd just do it at 6 by 6. Now, I will say to you, if you're using cardstock, you need to make the lid a 1/16 of an inch bigger, because otherwise, when you put your lid on your box, it will squeeze it in, and it's not a nice look. Okay, so we're adding a 1/16 of an inch for that reason. So all you do is on your large piece, so it's square, so all the sides are the same, and I'm explaining it in really easy terms on purpose in case anybody's new. You score at 2 inches on all 4 sides. That's going to give you a nice deep box, like I say, to put things in. So some people might think, well, that's deep and it's a bit of a waste of card. It's not, because if you had a shallower box, you wouldn't fit anything in it. So on the base, you score all 4 at 2 inches. So the lid, which is 6 1/16 by 6 1/16, okay, you score at 1 inch. You don't have 16ths on this scoreboard, you only have 8ths. You need to look at your trimmers for 16ths of an inch. If you don't understand 16ths of an inch, I will quickly explain, just in case there's anybody totally brand new. So every inch is made up of 16 on the bottom here. I work in inches. Every inch, so they're between 1 inch and 2 inch, you've got 16 little marks, okay? So each one of those little marks is a 16th. So if you was doing 1 1/16, you go to the first little line. If you was doing 2 16ths, you go 2, but then we start getting into maths and fractions. 2 16ths is an 1/8. Okay, we don't say 2 16ths, we say 1/8. but you can still count it as 16 if it's easier for you than trying to do a maths lesson. It took me quite a while to get my head around it because me and maths, you know, it's not my strongest subject. But once you get familiar with your trimmer and get familiar with doing lots of paper crafting, it just comes second nature. So if you're new and you find it overwhelming, it'll come with time, please don't worry. So I'm using cheap card here, so mine will probably split. If your card splits like that when you score it, there's two reasons. Either you're scoring a little bit too heavy, you're pressing on a little bit too hard, okay? Which is probably what I've done here because it doesn't always split this one. And the second reason is your card's rubbish. It's cheap card. And also sometimes there's like literally a way to score card. It's got a grain. So if you hold a piece of card one way, it will bend. And if you hold it, but that's a conversation for another day. We're not going to get that deep today. I can't be bothered. Right. Look it up. Okay. I try not to worry unless I'm making something that I would class as maybe an L. If I was doing a wedding album or a baby album, then I'd start worrying about the way the paper grain lays. Otherwise, you know, we don't need to add that stress to our lives. But it is a thing. So we're going to cut along the score lines. Okay, not along the score lines, just off the score lines. So here I'm cutting just to the left of the score line. You can still see the score line on that tab. And here I'm just cutting to the right, which leaves all of the score line on that tab. Okay, we don't want to see any score lines on these flaps. Then you just notch. And I'm sorry if it's painful watching me use such small scissors, but my hand-eye coordination is so... Oops, I've just ripped that, never mind. So shocking that I can't cut straight with longer ones. I need to be able to see up close. So we cut the tabs and we notch these down to the score line, and the reason that you notch, if you're new, is so that when that then folds on there, it doesn't catch on there and it doesn't protrude up there. Okay, so do them the same way, then turn it around and do the mirror image. Okay. So here we're just cutting to the side of the score line, and then we're going to notch it away. We're going to notch it away. You can still see a bit of my score line, but I'm just giving you a quick how-to. Okay, pull that away. And then you do the same with your lid. Okay, obviously this is smaller, and you'll think, how's that going to fit on there? But trust me, it does. You think, how's that going to fit on there, Amanda? But it does. Trust the process, promise you it fits. And then you do the same here. Okay, cut away, notch, notch. I'm going to go a bit quicker here if I can. One day I will find some large scissors that I can work with, and it will make my life a lot easier than these little snips. Although they are I have to say, stamping snips, if you can, you know, reach to them in your crafty budget, are the best scissors I've ever used, because the blades are nice and thin. And this pointer, you need to be careful. I've cut myself quite a few times with them, but these are the best scissors I've ever owned, ever. I have 2 pairs of them to make sure I'm never without. Make sure if I ever lose any, and none of my family are allowed to use them. Can I borrow some scissors, Mum? Yes, but not my snips. Don't touch my snips. They're not allowed. They're out of bounds. You know, can't have out. Got to watch them in this house. They'll have you. They'll have everything. You can't have, when you're a mum or a wife, you don't have anything to yourself, do you? I've hidden them in a drawer before so that nobody can nick them. I am selfish with them and I don't care. Make no apologies for it. Right, so I'm using tape. You can use glue, but you're going to have to sit there and wait for it to dry. Okay. Now again, if you're making it for an ultra special occasion, use glue and take the patience to wait for it to dry. But I'm just doing this to show you how to do it. So this is the lid. So you put your tape on, you remove it. And I'm going to go all the way through both. So if you don't want to watch, you don't have to, or you can fast forward now. But you never know, you might miss some important information. Or I might talk about you whilst you're gone. What really, really kidding. Oh dear. And what am I doing? That's not. I'm trying to peel backing off that one, and I've already took it off. Okie doke. So then these tabs are going to go against here. Now I've said before, if you've watched any of my box tutorials, we're not lining the tabs up because we've notched them. If you try and line those up, it's going to be wonky. What you're lining up is this edge here against this edge here. Okay, so ignore the tab, pull your sides together and line them up. Can you see? Line them up nice and neatly. Then underneath with your thumb, press to make your corner and just go around and do all for the same. So you're lining up the edges, not the tabs. Okay. And that might sound like, well, that's obvious, Amanda, but it's not obvious if you're new. Okay, don't forget, all of my tutorials, I always do them as if it's the first time anybody's even cut a piece of paper. Okay, because I remember when I was new and I couldn't follow what people were doing because they, you know, they were assuming that I knew what I was doing, and I didn't. And it took me quite a while to figure a lot of stuff out. You know, I had to get friends to help me, and so now I make a point of making sure that, you know, even if it makes my video long, I will explain everything. So if you're thinking, oh gosh, Amanda, you're boring. You're proper boring. Well, I'm sorry. Now what I'm going to do, and you don't have to do this, I'm just going to cut these tabs in half just to reduce the amount of flipping and flapping about that needs to be done. But you don't have to. It will make the edge of your box nice and sturdy. It'll help keep the walls thicker if you don't. But I just can't be doing my long tabs. So I've cut mine in half. Okay. It's also less surface to have to put glue and tape on. Alright, they don't need to be long. Just don't be cutting anything off of the height. The width doesn't matter. Just don't be trimming the height. Well, you can't really, because you'd be hard pressed to cut them the wrong way. Although I've probably done it. Do not notch these. No, yes, do notch these. Don't notch these. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera what I was doing then. When you're doing your notching, only notch flaps. Don't ever notch the sides. Okay. So again, we're lining up. Edge to edge. Edge to edge. Press. Okay, I'm going to speed it up a bit now because it's dragging on a bit, is this? It's dragging on a bit. Meant to be a quick video, but this is why I've not done all 3 boxes. So you follow the measurements, and the cutting and scoring is the same. Follow the measurements over on my Ko-fi and make them and construct them the same way, no matter what size they go down to. Okay, and then that will fit in there. And by doing that extra 1/16 of an inch, it's snug, it's not going to fall off. But if you don't do that extra 1/16 of an inch, this is what will happen when you put your lid on. It'll go like that. Okay, it will go like that, and it will gather in. So that's why I've done an extra 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so there you go. That's how we make them. You just do them 3 times and then you layer them with pretty paper and decorate them however you like. So I hope you will give that a try, because they are well worth making. It doesn't take too long. It takes longer to make them look pretty and decorate them how you want them than to make them. You could knock these up in no time. Get them made and get them gifted. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye.